Welcome to 11.6. In this section we're going to be talking about surface area and volume of spheres. First thing we're going to talk about is theorem 11.10, surface area of a sphere. We can find the surface area by taking 4 times the product of pi and the radius squared. So our formula here is going to be 4 pi r squared. And if you look on the picture on the right here, the radius is from the center of the sphere to the outer edge. So in our first example, we've got what is the surface area of the sphere in terms of pi. If the whole length is 18, that means that half of the length is going to be 9. So our surface area formula is going to be 4 times pi times our radius of 9 squared. Well, 9 squared is 81. 4 times 81 is going to be 324 pi, and then our label is going to be inches squared, or square inches, since we are talking about surface area. So in terms of pi, the surface area is going to be 324 pi square inches. Now we're asked to find the surface area of a ball that has a circumference of about 25 inches. Okay, so we're gonna round that to the nearest 10 square inches. So if we have a sphere here, okay, that's my poorly drawn sphere, and all the way around the outside is 25 inches. Okay, that's all the way around here. Okay, to go from there, I can find my diameter, because circumference is diameter times pi. So if I know my circumference is about 25, what I can do is divide both sides by pi to get my diameter, and that will get me about 7.95. So for this purpose we're going to round that to 8. Then once we have the diameter is twice my radius, so if I know my diameter is 8, my radius is going to be 4. So now that I know my radius, I can find the surface area, because again, surface area is 4 pi r squared. So I plug in 4 for my radius, so I've got 4 pi times 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. 4 times 16 is 64. So 64 pi gives me about 201.06. They want it to the nearest 10 square inches, so that'll round to 200 square inches. Next we're going to talk about volume. To find the volume of a sphere, we do 4/3 pi r cubed. We're still using the radius r from the center. So again, our volume formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. So for this first example, the volume of our sphere in terms of pi, our radius is 12. So my volume is going to be 4/3 times pi times 12 cubed. Well, 12 cubed is going to be 1728. 1728 times 4/3 gets me 2304 pi, and then my label is going to be cubic millimeters. Okay, so with this again, 4/3 pi r cubed, only the radius is going to get cubed. So cube the radius, multiply it by 4/3, and if they want you to leave it in terms of pi, then you're done. Otherwise, you would multiply pi into it, and you would round it to probably the 10th place or however they want you to. Last example we have, we've got the volume of a sphere is 2200 cubic yards. So we want to know what the surface area is going to be. So to start out with, we use our volume formula of 4/3 pi r cubed. Our goal is to solve for r. So we put 2200 in for v. Okay, we can divide by 4/3. Which would get me 1650 divide by pi would get me about 525.2. And if I take the cubic root of that, I would get that my radius is about 8. Once I have my radius, I can go over to my surface area formula of 4 pi r squared. I can put in 8 for r, so I have 4 pi 8 squared. 8 squared is 64. 4 times 64 gets me 256 pi. And that's going to be square yards, so I can either leave it like that, or if they want it in rounded off, we could say that it is 804.2 square yards. So either one of those two answers would be accepted.